Okay, so I'd like to welcome Robert again to our club. I know you've been here before, and everybody seems to know you quite well. And we appreciate you adapting to our Zoom meetings instead of in person. We do miss it, as we said. It's really nice when we got together, but it's not worth everybody getting sick. So I would like to welcome you and proceed with all the great photos you're going to get to see.
Thank you. I look forward to them. Your club always has such wonderful, variety and travel photos and wildlife photos and creative photos. I look forward to coming every time. And I think it's been a couple of years since I've been over to your club in person. So I missed it. I thought you kicked me out. You don't like me anymore, but I'm glad I'm back.
Good.
Okay. What I did is I flipped over the best of year, and this is going to be, we're going to start off with class 1, where we have 35 entries. First round is going to be basically an in out.
So the beginners and intermediate, correct?
Right. Nighttime on the Salts River.
And 6 will be out, 7 will be in.
Right.
Okay, so we'll make this one a 7.
Funky glasses.
It's a 6.
Old Oregon.
It's a 6.
Sunset over the Zambezi River.
It's a 6.
Sugars galore.
The 6.
Sunrise at 35,000 feet.
The 7.
Lioness.
The 6.
Chopped veggies.
The 7.
Flower fence.
The 6.
Taking a rest.
The 7.
Quite a splash.
The 6.
The DNA of a hotel.
7.
Flip-flops by the sea.
The 6.
Flying low.
The 6.
Stratified falls.
The 7.
What's cooking for dinner?
It's a 6.
Santa Fe security.
7.
Sunrise on the lake.
The 6.
Corniglia.
It's a 6.
3D pop-ups.
It's a 6.
Don't get splashed.
It's a 6.
Fungus Among Us #1.
The 6.
Purple flower.
The 7.
Kitchen drawer contents.
It's a 6.
Gateway to Old Town.
It's a 6.
She works hard for the money.
The 7.
Schwangau, Germany. Sorry for
Schwangau.
Schwangau.
Hohenschwangau.
Schwangau.
Vom Neuschwanstein. It's a 7.
Car window in car wash.
It's a 7.
Crescent moon.
It's a 7.
Horseshoe Bend, Arizona.
It's a 7.
Reflections of Stonebridge.
The 7.
Don't Tie Me Up.
The 7.
Bridge of Gold.
It's a 7.
Capitol Reef.
The 6.
Icicle.
It's a 7.
Okay, round 2, we have 17. Go down quite a lot there. Oh, hold on a second.
Mark,
I'm going to let Diana in.
Okay, good. Mark, can you silence everybody just in case?
I have to stop sharing. You know what? Well, hold on a second.
Then
We
maybe
can all put
everybody-
ourselves on mute, right?
Yeah, just put
that's
yourselves
a
on
good
mute.
idea.
See, yeah, it makes more sense. It's than popping in and out of the whole thing. Okay. Nighttime on the Salts River.
So now I do 7, 8, 9 with comments, correct?
Give me a second. Let me just back out a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Diana's waiting to be ready.
No, I'm in now.
So why don't you tell me?
I just got in.
Okay, do me a favor, people. Silence yourselves. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks.
You want soup? What, now?
All right. I really like how you captured the curve in there and you photographed it during the nice light that was still up there in the sky, right? And you purposefully placed that boat in the left side of the frame. I do feel like that it misses a little bit of a punch, right? It misses like something that like makes me go, wow, this is a great image, even though it's like really nicely executed. But it's a very clean looking image, right? It is nicely done. It's just not, it's not a 9, it's an 8.
Sunrise at 35,000 feet.
The I should take a window seat again. I always like to sit in the aisle so I can get up, but the window seat certainly has some advantages. You know, you getting to look out the window and get beautiful clouds and the sun. And I feel like you captured this moment beautifully. It's difficult and challenging sometimes to capture it through the window with things moving. And I don't know if you pulled out your DSLR or mirrorless camera, or if it was taken with a phone and you submitted it, but I think it's well executed, and it's a very pleasing image to look at. I'll give it a 9.
Chopped veggies.
I like that you know, I don't know what the competition theme was, maybe something you find in the kitchen, and I like that you kept it very simple, right? You kept it very simple to just a few colors, and you used a black background, sort of. But there's a few little items that you should look at and clean up in the future, like those little white spots over there, or the little divot on the top, and maybe separate the shears and the vegetables a little bit more and create some more impact. But I think you created something here. You tried something new, probably in the beginner group or intermediate, and I give you credit for that. And but for competition, best of the year, we'll give it a 7.
Taking a rest.
It's always good to have a story in your image, and you know, we have that taking a rest story, that a horse takes a rest, that the person takes a rest, maybe they wait for new customers to come by. I like how you didn't crop too much, and you included just enough for the story to be told, right? I mean, you didn't crop the window when you composed it. It's on a slight diagonal. It's kind of a nice and pleasing image. I wonder if we could have gotten closer to them. I wonder if we could have blurred the background a little bit to make it a stronger image. But it's a nice story. Yeah, give it an 8.
The DNA of a hotel.
So this is well seen, right? It reminds you of the helix, and when you find staircases like that, you can have so much fun with it. Unfortunately, in I feel like in the United States, we don't have enough of those very cool and fun staircases, and feel like we have to go to Europe or South America to find them, or the big cities. I like what I see in the center here. I wish you had darkened maybe the outside a little bit, maybe on the top and on the bottom there, especially where I can see something like there's something blue down there. Maybe it was somebody's jeans pants that looks through. So just darken the outside a little bit, put a little vignette around it, draws me more into the center. But it was well seen, and it's a nice, engaging image. 8.
Stratified falls.
As you know, in photography, we like 3 things, and you captured 3 waterfalls here. So that alone makes this picture very engaging and very interesting. And I like that each one of those waterfalls is different, right? I can look at each one of them, left, middle, and right. And I'm drawn to the left one because it's very interesting. And it all works for the image. I feel that your trees may be a little bit green, a little bit bright, maybe. I feel that I feel like the rocks look a little bit too sharp. Maybe you over sharpened it for some reason, but the water looks nice. You captured that silky watery feel, and maybe it was a 1-second exposure, a little bit longer, a little bit shorter than that to capture that. Probably not the best time of the day. It looks very bright, but a nice overall image. Give it a 7.
Center face security.
When that first came up, it almost looked like a painting to me, or like an abstract image, and I had to figure out like what is going on here a little bit. Now, looking at it, I was wondering if I struggle with those left greeneries coming in, right? A little left tree adding this little bit of green to the image that's otherwise just like really brown and pink and like, you know, maybe dark metal fence kind of. But I kind of like the way it comes in and adds this little bit of color to it. I like the lines, not just the vertical ones, but also like to the right, going off into the distance, and going on the right side, there may be a little, you know, area where the gate is mounted on a wall or something. Like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So it engages me. I find it really interesting. So I kind of like this one a lot. I'll give it a 9 as well.
I'm sorry, let me just, okay. Purple flower.
I think for a flower picture, you handled it well. You know, the flower itself is all sharp, it's all in focus, it's all well composed and well lit, and there's nothing that's out, you know, that's overly bright or that is out of focus. Like, everything that needs to be in focus and in focus. Now, the things you can do in Lightroom or Photoshop, right, is you can select the flower itself and then select everything else. And when I say select everything else, I mean the background. And you could play around with it, desaturate the colors a little bit, maybe make it even more blurry. Lightroom has that new tool that I forgot the name of it, where you can, where Lightroom kind of knows what is sharp and what is not in focus, and you can like make the parts that are not in focus even less in focus, which is great for portraits and such. And then you look on the top left side, there's like this little piece of grass or something sticking out up there, right above the flower, like in the 11 o'clock position. You can take that out very easily in like any software now. And I would, you can call it AI when AI fixes it, but I would take that out because it's just distracting. But for beginner intermediate, it's a really nice flower picture. I'll give it an 8 for that group.
I just want to see something. Let me just go back a little. Okay, good. She works hard for the money.
So with people and with animals and with all, you know, everybody we interact with, we want that eye contact, and you got that, right? You probably talked to that person. You said, "Hey, can I take your photo?" After you engaged her for a while, and she looked at you, and she looked pretty proud of all the things that she holds up and carries with her. So it's this nice connection that you make with the person, which is great, which is fantastic to have. I like the story that this picture tells me, and I don't need to see everything that she has, right? I don't know what she's holding in the left hand here that looks like some kind of like hoses or wires or pipes of some sort, right? I have no idea what it is. But the story is like she handles a lot, and she carries a lot, and she sells a lot of these little items to tourists. And she looks at you, she engaged with you. It's a nice picture. The background is a little distracting with the white on top. And again, you can go into the tools and maybe darken the background, maybe make it a little blurry to draw even more attention to her. But it's really well done for beginner intermediate group. Give it an 8.
Schwangau, Germany.
I kept it in just so you can say it again.
Yes, you did.
No, it's a beautiful mountain scene in the southern Bavarian Alps, right? And you kept that castle there that's on the right side, like halfway up in the frame. That's Hohenschwangau, and you wanted, you needed to find a title for it, but you captured the scene quite well, and it's just a nice Bavarian Alps scene that you would find in a guidebook. Now, for photo competition, I'm struggling with like, what in that scene do you want me to focus on? And because he said Hohenschwangau, and I know it, right? I would say, oh yeah, there's the castle. But anybody else, they would maybe just look around that image and never settle on anything that you want them to see that you saw. Like some of you may look at the mountains in the background and the shape of it. Some of you may look at the lake. Some of you may look at the castle or the town below. So for that reason, find a focus, get a long lens, zoom in on something, and then you can create a stronger image. But it's a nice, beautiful scene. Give it a 7.
Car window in car wash.
It's funny. It's a funny picture, right? It tells a story. And if you didn't give it that title, if you had come up with like a more abstract title, we would wonder what it is. We would not know. And it would be like, we would look at that and try to figure out what's going on there. And it's kind of funny. It can keep me engaged. It can keep me searching for shapes. Like when you go outside and look up at the puffy clouds and you see different shapes, right? You can look into that picture and maybe find some different shapes that remind you of one thing or another, right? So from that aspect, it works out quite well. I like the blue background that you have in there, probably the brushes that were spinning in general, but on the top left, like it's a little brownish, so that kind of takes me away. My eye goes to that. And I don't know if you took more pictures while you were sitting in the car. Maybe you took a bunch more, and that was your favorite one. But I wonder if there were other ones that were a little different too. I'll give it an 8.
Crescent moon.
I like what you saw there. I like all the space above the moon. Sometimes people will tell you crop. Yeah, and you could crop in there, right? You could crop. It would make sorry, I'm covering up the lens, covering up the image. It would still be a nice image, but I do kind of like that space on top of it, because it kind of like tells me like maybe the moon has just risen. There's still a little bit of daylight left. I can still see the plant in front of me and whatever beach I was, and the moon is just starting to rise. Whatever it is, I dig a little bit of negative space in photos, and other judges may not like that at all. I also like the curve of the plant, and it doesn't bother me that it was cut off on the left side. Again, it may bother somebody and say, hey, you didn't include the whole plant. But the main part of the plant is included. I like how now see, the plant curves to the left, right? And the crescent moon is like to the right, the opposite way. So the two of them kind of have the same shape, and they kind of go together. And I like that interplay. I think it's well seen. I hope I explained what you saw when you took the picture. Maybe you saw something completely different, but I like it, and I like the tonality that is like very simple. Not a lot of colors going on. It's not very complicated. You have a nice separation between the plant and the moon. I'll give it a 9.
Horseshoe Bend, Arizona.
Now that one is really hard to capture in just one image, and unless you're like, yeah, in the right spot and you have a really wide angle lens. Or maybe you go to the edge and you risk your life to get it all into one frame. Or maybe you have those new phones where you can just pinch and pinch and pinch and it goes really wide that my lens cannot do. But Horseshoe Bend is just such an amazing place to capture, and I'm glad you captured the whole thing in it. Probably best time of the day is not midday when you were there. I can see the sun in the water. Sunset is probably the best time to go with the sun setting behind it. But I think you did a really nice job holding, those reds in check. It can get a little too red at times and you lose details there. Not much you can do about the sky and the sun. So I think you captured that particular place really, really well for a beginner group. I'll give it an 8.
Reflections of Stonebridge.
I kept that one in there and I was struggling with it a little bit because of the tree branches on top, right? Like those tree branches come down and they take away from the image, those cut off branches that are sticking in from the top right. But I do like the reflection. It's so clear, such a beautiful sky. The trees are really nice, still a little bit of yellow. And a little bit of green doesn't bother me in the front. Somebody may say, yeah, it's like, why is it there? Does it add to the picture or not? Should you focus closer? Should you use a longer lens and get closer on those yellow trees and the reflections? And I wanted to keep it in because I wanted to talk about it just a little tiny bit since it's the beginner group. And I would think that if you go out to that scene again, especially in your neighborhood, try to not put that horizon in the middle. Try to maybe cut out those branches on the top, move your camera a little bit lower and capture maybe more of what you see in the water and less of what is on land, right? And work with your composition that way and try new things. I think you wanted me to see the reflections. I think you were looking at those colorful yellow trees still, but you didn't pay too much attention above you and maybe to the left there. I'll give it a 7.
Don't tie me up.
When that came up, as you know, like anything red or like dark orange, it like sticks out and it captures our interest in the picture. So I see that rope there or hose or whatever it is that is red. That's right in front of me. And after you capture my interest with the red hose rope, I look at all the other pictures and I see the other elements. I see the rope there with all the details, right? I see that's near the ocean somewhere. I see a seagull up there, and I see like diagonal lines going off into the distance. So that all works for the picture. What I'm struggling with is kind of like what's in the background there. I think there might be a boat or something right there that's kind of like out of focus already. I make out some detail, but maybe not enough detail anymore. And I wish it would be blurrier or it would be sharper. And in the background, it kind of seems like dark and dull. And I have that red in the foreground, which is so bright and vibrant. So I'm struggling with it, trying to make sense out of it all. But I think you tried something really creative here. And I like how you included this red part in your picture and you tried to make it work well. But overall, I think it could be improved. Give it a 7.
Bridge of Gold.
Have not been there. Often photographed bridge. I like that you kept it in on a diagonal. I think there's another viewpoint where people capture it from the other side, kind of like straight on. And this is kind of a refreshing look. It looks like you captured some early afternoon light, maybe, possibly. Sky is still pretty bright. Because still some bright lights on the windows, but there's some longer shadows coming out now. I think you tried something there that kind of works for the image. Now, going back to it, I wonder what this would look like with a long lens, and you just capture the right half of the picture, kind of, or the right 2/3 of the picture, so I can focus more on those shutters and more on those different colors of those houses and the overhangs and stuff like that. So I think you can improve upon your composition a little bit and focus in more on something of more interest. But overall, I think you did a nice job handling what you saw that day. I'll give it an 8.
Icicle.
But it was nicely captured now. Icicles are so much fun. And I'm glad you kind of like included something, maybe a little bit more in your icicle pictures. Many times you only get to see the icicle itself, or people try to catch a water droplet when it melts. And you have your downspout and the gutter, and you have that curve up there. So it shows me that, like, hey, there's a human element. There's a gap in there. Icicle forms where the water comes out. And so it tells a story that way. I wish you had deleted, fixed, or whatever you want to call it, that little tiny bit in the top middle, that little tiny icicle or stick or whatever it was that's out of focus in the distance. But I like how sharp it is, how close up you went, and how the light hits it so nicely from the side there, and it gives me those highlights up there. It's very beautiful. I'll give it a 8.
Okay, well, we have 3, basically 9, so we can do that with the first, second, and third place.
Okay.
Okay, let's do a V here. And I'll go through these.
I'll give first place to the middle one,
I'm sorry, we'll just make it
the
simple.
Santa Fe Security.
Okay,
And then we'll do second place to the Crescent Moon. Then third place to Sunrise. Okay.
okay. Best of year, third place, Sunrise at 35,000. Diane Koletsky. Diane, very nice job. Beautiful picture. I really like it. Second place, Crescent Moon. Claude, well, he's not with us. Claude passed, but he always did such beautiful work. And first place, Ed. And Ed is here, Santa Fe Security. Great job, Ed. Okay, now I'm going to go to best of year 2. And in this one, we have 124. So depending on how many we keep in there, we may have to go to 2 rounds before, otherwise it may get too time consuming of in and outs.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start rocking and rolling. Best of year, class 2, Heart of Mine.
Seven.
Excuse me?
7.
Denali National Park view in black and white.
6.
Walk away over the wetlands.
6.
Chew.
6.
Lily of the Night.
7.
Window shades.
7.
Are you in there somewhere?
6.
Hawaiian sunset over the Pacific.
6.
Still life.
6,
Ghost Rider.
6,
Gladiolus at midnight.
7,
Acetylene torch.
7,
Patriotic fence.
6,
Eyes of the beholder.
6,
Rusty and old.
7,
Sunset abstraction with oil painting filter.
7,
Bod his sativia. Pardon my pronunciation.
6,
Gladiolus sunset number 2.
7,
Cabanas.
7,
One of a kind.
7,
Sunken Meadow, Long Island.
6,
Little Miss Sunshine.
7,
Relax.
7,
Perennial Buttercup Love.
7,
NYC.
7,
Canopies in the Woods.
7,
Walk on by.
6,
Blue moon, you saw me standing alone.
6,
Jackson Pollock shoes.
6,
Natural form.
7,
Dawn breaks in Venice.
6,
Docked.
6,
Taiwan Memorial Gate.
6,
Hacienda.
7,
Perfect fit.
7,
Dahlia family.
7,
The actual bridge on the River Kwai.
6,
Looks like palm trees.
7,
Looking out.
7,
Full moon over Breckenridge.
6,
My strainers.
6,
Watch your step.
7,
Bruges Canal.
7,
Today's selection is
6,
The Lion in Winter.
7,
He is looking at you.
7,
Persian Buttercup Pristine.
6,
Bouquet of color.
7,
Cardinal in the snow.
6,
Block 5.
6,
Macau showing its best side.
6,
Village dog.
7,
In the lead.
6,
Not a happy can opener.
6,
Wild pansy violet.
6,
Dahlia Delight,
7,
River Cruise,
6,
A Garden Swing,
6,
Within the Gate,
7,
Selfie Reflection in Sunglasses,
6,
Where Have You Been,
7,
Light and Shadow,
7,
Nandia Heavenly Bamboo,
7,
Xena Magic,
7,
The Lady from Da Nang,
7,
Funnels,
7,
Curves,
7,
Darabra Tortoise,
Turtle, 7,
yes,
Turtle, 7,
7. Austrian Village Setting,
7,
Two Heads Are Better Than One,
6,
Tulip Impression,
7,
in honor of Kim Jong's Thai's feet,
6,
Florida Terrace,
6,
Shapes of Talk,
7,
Felted Paper Art,
7,
Eyeglass Wear,
6,
Dancing Waters,
6,
Hills and Pine Trees,
6,
Shoes of the Tap Dancer,
6,
Scraped Clean,
6,
Curious Iguana,
6,
Water Art,
6,
In Mother's Arm,
6,
Trolling,
6,
Ashore Abstract,
7,
Illuminating,
7,
Camouflaged Gate,
6,
Reflection,
7,
All Left Shoes,
7,
Essence of Eyeglasses,
7,
Geometry,
7,
Gates to the Meadow,
6,
Blue Paper Boat,
6,
Heron on One Leg, black and white,
6,
Reaching for the Light,
6,
The Rain Man Cometh,
7,
You Got Room for Me,
7,
Falls, Mist and Clouds,
7,
Urban Cellist,
7,
Be My Valentine,
7,
Sing Into Infinity and Beyond,
6,
Graceful Takeoff,
7,
Venice, another view.
7,
Three of a kind.
6,
Palma de Mallorca Passage.
7,
Board at the playground.
7,
Vestibule.
7,
Bus stop.
6,
Hot rod engine.
7,
I should have flown south.
7,
White picket fence.
6,
Old soldier.
7,
Hand and foot.
7,
Fancy fence.
6,
Figure ground, cello back and cabinet side.
6,
Me.
no, it's not me. No. Looked in the mirror, it's not,
Not
me.
me either.
Not me, not me. 7,
Snowboarder.
6,
Light and shadow.
7,
In the playground.
6,
Band dancer.
7,
Touching.
7,
Small business manage.
7,
Figure ground, cello cabinet.
6,
Abandoned ranch.
6.
Okay, we have 66, so I'm thinking maybe we should do another round of in
Okay,
out.
okay.
All right,
Cut it in half and cut it in half again.
yeah. Round two. Heart of mine.
6,
Lily of the night.
6,
Window shades.
7,
Gladiolus at midnight.
7,
Acetylene torch.
7,
Rusty and old.
6,
Sunset abstraction with oil painting filter.
6,
Gladiolus sunset number 2.
6,
Cabanas.
6,
One of a kind.
6,
Little Miss Sunshine.
6,
Relax.
6,
Perennial buttercup love.
7,
NYC.
7,
Canopies in the woods.
7,
Natural form.
6,
Hacienda.
6,
Perfect fit.
7,
Dahlia family.
6,
Looks like palm trees.
6,
Looking out.
6,
Watch your step.
6,
Rouge Canal.
7,
The lion in winter.
6,
He is looking at you.
7,
Bouquet of color.
7,
Village dog.
7,
Dahlia delight.
7,
Within the gate.
6,
Where have you been?
6,
Light and shadow.
6,
Nandia, heavenly bamboo.
6,
Zenith magic.
7,
The lady from Da Nang.
7,
Funnels.
7,
Curves.
7,
Aldabra tortoise.
7,
Austrian village setting.
6,
Tulip impression.
6,
Shades of taupe.
6,
Felted paper art.
6,
The shore abstract.
7,
Illuminating.
6,
Reflection.
6,
All left shoes.
6,
Essence of eyeglasses.
6,
Geometry.
6,
The rain man cometh.
7,
You got room for me?
6,
Fall mist and clouds.
7,
Urban cellist.
7,
Be my Valentine.
7,
Graceful takeoff.
6,
Venice, another view.
6,
Palma del Mallorca.
6,
Ward at the playground.
7,
Vestibule.
7,
Hot rod engine.
7,
I should have flown south.
7,
Old soldier.
7,
Hand and foot.
7,
Me.
7,
Light and shadow.
7,
Fan dancer.
6,
Touching.
6,
Small business manage.
6.
Okay, well, we've got 30, so I think that's a good score for us to do 7, 8, and 9. Okay, next round, window of shades.
So when you have these repetitive patterns, they're always very engaging. They always look the same, but you have them going off into the distance, so they seem to be getting more together in the distance. And in the front, I can see all the details still, and then we have this beautiful grayscale, and then the darkness, and then like the light on the closer end coming through from the windows. It just creates this beautiful pattern. I mean, not only do you have the triangles from the windows in there, you also have like kind of like the triangle captured by the open space in the top right corner versus the lower, the left side of the whole frame. Where those repetitive patterns are. It's a very engaging image, very well handled, sharp throughout, greatly composed and exposed, and exposure is great. 9, great image.
Terrific. Gladiolas at midnight.
You had a lot of flowers in your competition this year. There were a lot of flowers. So I don't know what happened with, you had like 3 flowers competition a year. I don't know what's going on there. But I tell you why I like this one. It's just because of the simplicity of the colors. Like many of the other ones are very colorful, but this one stood out by just being kind of pale. And then my interest really goes to the shape of it, and to the water droplets, and to the form of it, and how it, all those different petals, how they are shaped. in and out and the curves, right? And the whole flower itself is like super sharp with like nothing distracting in the background. I really like this image. Give it a 9.
Acetylene torch.
I don't know what your topic was, but maybe it was like people at work or hands at work or something like that. But if that was your topic, maybe, you know, that captured it really well. And I like what you did with the treatment of the image at the end. Like, what did you desaturate and what did you maybe even add a little bit of blue to the image and add a little bit of like gold and brown and yellow for the sparks to make them stand out even more. So, you know, that person is like in a dark suit, like dark protective gear with a helmet, like that adds like this dark vignette around the whole picture, which draws me more into the welding action right there in the middle of the image. And it's not the middle of the image, it's like the lower right side. So you put that into the lower left third, you know, using those thirds again. Great image, give it a 9. I'm going to get myself into trouble with those 9s now.
Yeah. Korean buttercup love.
I like how I don't know what the competition was when you had this, but you know, a lot of them had this blend of whatever background that maybe you created yourself together with the flower, and you created a composite of some sort, right? And again, on this picture, like, it stood out to me that the flower was the only flower that he photographed. Like other pictures, they had, you know, multiple flowers in the background that took away from the main flower. So I liked it. Again, I like the water droplets on it. This one does, however, on the left side especially, blend in with the background a little bit. So the petals do not stand out as much anymore as they could, right? And that probably takes away a little bit from the actual flower. It could stand out a little bit more with maybe a more blurry background, or like the tonality being a little more difference between the flower and the background to make it stand out a little bit more. But I think it's super creative. I don't know the process behind it. So I do like it a lot, and I'm glad I kept it in, but it's an 8.
NYC.
If I know my color wheel, is blue and yellow a complementary color? I don't know. I have to check that every once in a while. But blue and yellow seems to be going well together. And I kind of know it's a crane, right? I kind of know it's construction going on. And you tell me it's New York City in the title, right? But I just like the abstract feeling of it. Like, I don't know if you took this picture and then you rotated it 90 degrees or 180 degrees, or what side is up and what side is down. And it keeps me guessing, right? It keeps me guessing exactly what is going on there. And I like that you formed these triangles with the crane. Like, there's all these triangles everywhere, and triangles are really strong components of a composition that engages us and keeps our interest and keeps us moving through the image. So I really dig this picture a lot. Yeah. I feel like I have to go to New York more, even though it's always very stressful and a long day and really expensive to get in and out. But that picture makes it worth it. Give it a 9.
Canopies in the woods.
Now, when this picture first comes up, like, I'm like every judge, I'm like, okay, I'll go to the white parts, right? I go to the 3 triangle tent tops that are on the bottom. And after looking at them for a little bit, I'm like, okay, no, those are like those pop-up tents, and it looks a little boring. But then I look up and I see all those golden colors in those trees, the golden hues, and again, that golden color in the blue sky. And then I go back down to the tents. I'm like, what a fantastic setting to have a party, right? There's this beautiful forest in the fall, and it all creates this peaceful moment. Maybe we're just waiting for the setup and for the people to arrive to enjoy their time there. So it is a story element in there. And I think it all works beautifully together just because of the way you framed it, the way you captured it. There's no tree limbs overlapping with those tents in there. So I think it's a really, really fun image. the only things that like distracting me a little bit, right, is like I look in the top left corner of that frame, I see this big dark branch going through it diagonally, and like that sometimes takes me away from it a little bit. And I wonder if we had cropped ever so slightly a little bit in from the left side, or if you had used AI to remove that branch, if that's allowed in your club. I think we could have cleaned up that image a little bit more. But I overall, I think it's fantastic, but I'll give it an 8.
Perfect fit.
Whatever you've done here, it's a little creepy, I gotta admit, but it's really well executed, like some really nice Photoshop skills. I don't know if you can use a plugin to do that, or if you have to do the hard way with the layers and get it all done and taking the different pictures, right? I find it curious now that I look at it a little bit longer, right? That you didn't. Well, you kind of had it all the way in the center, right? But we have it on the right side. We got the whole ear almost in. On the left side of the frame, the ear is totally cut off, almost totally cut off. So I don't know why that is, and if you could have fixed that to make it totally symmetrical from that viewpoint. I like what you've done. I think it's really creative, but if you want to have it symmetrical because you put him in the middle and it looks like he might be in the middle, but maybe not totally in the middle, then have it symmetrical, include both ears or include half of both ears and look at that. That would make it a stronger image, because I think it's a little lopsided this way. Give it an 8.
Bruges Canal.
It's like the picture perfect postcard of Bruges, and never been there. It's on my bucket list. And I like that you had those beautiful Belgium rain clouds in the sky there too. I hear it's always raining in Belgium. That's one my friends from Belgium say. I like the still water, I like the reflection. It's just a very peaceful, serene scene. I feel that the greens, the way I see them on my screen, maybe a little bit too green. It could just be my screen, it could be your screen calibration, the way it comes across. That's just me being nitpicky. Other than that, it's just this beautiful scene, right? And there's not much we need to add to it as a photographer to being creative, like, because it is there and it's beautiful. But you beautifully executed. I like that you left the top of the church in there, the steeple, you didn't cut that off. You straightened out your left and right sides. All the buildings are straight. So I think it's really well executed. I just wish there would be a little bit more punch in it, something like something that adds to the image, because it's just a scene that is there, that you well executed. I miss your like personal touch in there, like something that separates it from other pictures of Bruges a little bit more. I'll give it an 8.
He is looking at you.
I assume it's an eyeball. I don't know. It could be something completely different, but it looks like an eyeball, right? So I kept it in because I wanted to see it a little bit more. But I don't know what the point is of it. I mean, it's a beautiful image, right? And there's a lot of lines going away, and we have this great detail. But I don't know what else to do with it, other than it's an interesting image, what I think of an eye. There may not even be an eye. So for that, we'll give it an 8, because it's an interesting image, and I'm not quite sure what it is. And it looks a little bit over sharpened maybe, and it looks a little bit noisy maybe. And that could have probably been fixed in post. But it's super interesting. 8.
Bouquet of color.
I found it very interesting, not only because of the shape of it, of the sharpness of those leaves that you photographed, I guess in the original image, right? Before you added the treatment. I liked how you have all these colors in there and how well they go together. I like discovering the different lines and shapes in the image, I can get myself lost in there for a while. So it all works really well together, what you created there in Photoshop, the plugin, whatever it was that you used in the end. And I don't know how many different pictures you took before you wound up on that one, but this is something that you could frame and hang on the wall, and people would love to look at it. I'll give it a 9.
Village dog.
I like the story that you have in that picture. Yes, you see the dog, and you tell me it's a village dog, right? So the title always helps to add the context to it. I like the eye contact you have with the dog, and I like that there's no owner with the dog. It looks like a lonely dog, right? It's coming to you. So you have a great story here. You have a great, even the walkway is great. Like so that takes me into the image. It tells me something about the place, right? I wish the dog would be a little bit sharper. The eyes and the head seem a little bit soft to me. I wish we had a little better eye contact. Maybe you get a little closer to the dog itself. But then again, if it's the village dog, maybe he wasn't that friendly after all. But I love this picture for the story. I just wish we had a little bit different tonality, a little bit closer to the dog, a little more of the eye contact there, and to get to know him a little bit more, maybe. Give it an 8.
Dahlia Delight.
So when this came up, and I said earlier that there was no other flowers really around some of those pictures that I picked off the flowers, and there's one on the side here, there's one on the right side, like a little flower about to open up, but that's just like that's not really distracting me. That's like another add-on to that flower, and say, hey, you know what? That second head that comes out on my side here, that bud that will open up soon. So it adds to the story. But what I like here is the angle that you've chosen, like looking at the dahlia, like straight on, and it's opened up, and I can see all the details all the way around, even with the treatment that you applied there. So it looks really beautiful, and it's a good separation from the background still, right? Even on the lower right side, where it kind of starts to blend in a little bit more, but it's very well done. I'll give that one a 9 as well.
Xena Magic.
And it's kind of like in the same category there, right? We have another circular flower, and you shot it straight on, and you captured this great detail. And I cannot say that the previous picture is better than this picture, because they're both excellent, fantastic flower pictures that really draw me to the essence of that flower and what is going on there with those petals, and the treatment you applied works really well. So I got to give that one a 9 as well.
The Lady from Da Nang.
Now for this one again, we like that eye contact, right? We like to connect with people, and you've done that really well over here. I feel, however, that the image itself has some technical issues. Maybe if I look at her hat, right, it looks like really bright, her hat, and I don't know if you brighten up the whole image, and there looks like a little bit of a halo around on the left side of her hat. So I don't know what you had to do to make the image work in terms of post-processing. Maybe it was too dark, and you brought up a lot of the shadows there too, because it does look a little over-processed. Again, I think it has great potential. Anytime we have a human interaction with somebody and we can see their character in their face, it's a great subject. But I think the processing hurts the image, and I wish maybe there would be a little bit more to the image to see what's going on around her, or maybe even closer to her face to see more of the details. But I think it was a great moment. I'll give it a 7.
Funnels.
So I know there were some other kitchen tools today, but I like this one, because we do have these very identical, right? I should say identical, but different in size. Well photographed, I think well lit. well-chosen background that just absorbs whatever light you throw at it, and it still keeps it dark. Objects, and I kind of like the idea that you did something different and you put it on a diagonal, and how you arrange them the same way, but kind of like diagonally. So that all works well for the image. But other than that, I don't think there's a strong impact to it. Certainly when we look at the other best of the year images that have a much greater impact on the viewer. But I think you did a really nice job for that subject matter. So we'll give it an 8.
Curves.
So I saw a few of those abstract paper folding images cycle through here. And this one stood out because I feel that this one was sharper than some of the other ones. And I did like the interplay between the shadows and the lights and the dark space below more than in some of the other images. It does get a little soft if you look up on the right side, the top right side, and if I follow the paper up, it gets rather soft rather quickly. But overall, it's for an abstract image of the paper folding, I think it's kind of well done. I'll give it an 8.
Aldabra tortoise.
The we talked about a turtle twice before when it came up. Call it a turtle. And I feel the head and the eyeball is just in the perfect place, right? When I look at the picture, I'm like, everything is kind of like, grayscale. There's some bright areas, there's some, slightly dark areas, but that eyeball, like, that draws me right in there. It's like this dark spot circle right there in the lower third where the rule of thirds where they meet again, and it gets me there, right? And I like that, the head is kind of on the shell, because usually we see the head separated and like there's the background, but this is different. What bothers me a little bit is the background, though, and there's probably nothing you can do about it. If I look on the top edge, into the distance where it gets really blurry, nice out of focus background, but it's still bright over there, and maybe you try to do something with it and try to get rid of some distractions there. Maybe there's some editing that was going on. It doesn't look great. The turtle looks great, the shell looks great, but the background doesn't look great. And that takes me away from the turtle head and the turtle shell. So we'll give it an 8.
Ashore abstract.
This is beautiful. I don't know if you moved the camera left to right when you took that. It was a long exposure. I don't know how you created that particular effect, but it's a beautiful, beautiful abstract that somebody can frame and put it in the house, right? It works really well. It makes me wonder how you did it, where you took it. I can probably figure out, yes, it's the beach and the ocean, but somebody else may just look at it as a total abstract that they just like because of the lines. I'll give it a 9.
The Rain Man cometh.
I love, okay, what do I look first, right? We always talk about sharpness in the image, and we always talk about bright areas. Now we got the sharp parts on the top there. We got those big raindrops that are sharp. And then we got those bright areas that are on the bottom, but they're out of focus. So now as the viewer, like, what do I look at? I have basically these two distinct images. I have like these sharp droplets of water that are really super interesting on the top. And then I go down, I'm like, oh, that's behind the glass. And you chose to focus on the front, and the background is all out of focus, and it's black and white, and there's some trees in there that I can make out, and there's a house in there, and it kind of like works really well together. Maybe you were in your car and it just rained, so there's a whole story behind it. But I like how you have the separation between those two images, and yet they go together so well in my mind. So I really, I like the simplicity of this picture, and you probably didn't plan for that one. It just happened to be there. Yeah, I'll give it a 9.
balls, mist, and clouds.
And I really liked that simple composition and the simple colors in that image, right? We have basically just like really two colors. We have that green and we have that white area. I'm not talking about the dark trees on the right side. So the picture is kind of like cut in half that way, and we have the shapes of the clouds and we have the mist coming up creating shapes, and nothing is really blown out. I can still see all the detail, which is great. It's a very pleasing image. And I like how you place the water, right? The waterfall goes over the edge, Niagara Falls maybe. And on the lower left side, you start with the water and how it creates this beautiful curve going from the lower left side, going up and making this curve around. And we see that beautiful color in the water. I think it's a very pleasing image. What I'm struggling with, and I don't think there's anything that can be done about it because it would look fake, is the dark trees in the background and on the shoreline there. And yes, you could bring up the shadows there. And yes, you could photograph maybe with a brighter exposure, but then your whites get blown out. So I don't think you can do anything about it. And it doesn't really bother me. But some people may get maybe bothered by that. And they may say, oh, it's too dark back there. I don't see any details anymore. I'm kind of okay with it. I'll give it a 9.
Urban cellist.
I like how you framed it, right? You didn't include anything that is unnecessary, right? There was probably stuff on the left and the right and the top that you could have included in your frame, but you're like, you know what? I'm going to focus on what is important. What is the main subject? The guy playing, guy collecting money, selling his CDs. We included 2 windows. We straighten out the lines as best as we can. We have a hydrant. So it's a great street scene, great street photography, well seen. You kept the items separated from each other. I like that you maybe moved a little bit, like another step to the left to make sure the hydrant doesn't merge with that case in front of him. So it's well done. Give it a 9.
Be My Valentine.
I wanted to keep this in because it looks like a fun picture. you had a lot of fun with that taking that photograph, and I feel that the colors work really well together. I feel that the softness you applied here, like it feels like a soft light, and the lampshade adds some softness to it, and the balloons are very dreamy. I think you did a really nice job creating something here and executing it well. I think it's an 8.
Board at the playground.
Now, when this picture came out, I wanted to keep it in because A, it tells a story that's really good, right? And I feel like you cheated because you have like 2 lenses here. You have your camera lens, and then there's like this reflection here that's like another lens. It almost looks like a fisheye lens capturing the whole playground in there. It's like 2 cameras for the price of 1. So I really like that. I really like that we had this reflection, and it's like a little globe, so it's like distorted. And you can go even further, like ask yourself while she's bored, right? And if she looks out into the distance and she sees what you see in the reflection here, you see that she has no friends. There's like nobody coming to play. Maybe that's why she's bored. So you have this story going on here, which is really nice. And you hear us say all the time, like have that eye contact with the person, have the eye contact with the person. But in this picture, you don't have to have it at all because she's looking off into the distance. She's looking into the area that we see in the reflection here. So this is great interplay between, you showing us what she can actually see. Well seen. Give it a 9.
Vestibule.
I think this is great. Great job done composing it. Great job done getting all those details in the dark areas and keeping all those bright areas under control, because I'm sure there's some light coming from the top left, and there's some artificial lights in there that make things look really bright, and then other areas that look really dark. I like how you captured that staircase going up and to the left without cutting everything off, and that we have that door open. I wish that we had something else in there of interest to make it a little different. Yes, it's a cool place. Yes, you captured it really well. But for the best of the year, I wish there would be something else in there, like something in the corner that's of interest, or somebody on the stairs that's of interest, something that grabs me a little bit more. I'll give it an 8.
Hot rod engine.
This is really well shot for an engine, right? Because there's so many different parts in there, so many gears, so many belts. There's so much that you need to keep in focus, and you want me to see in focus, and all of the engine parts in general are in focus, and then the focus falls off when we go to the back there. When we go all the way in the back, it looks a little more blurry, right? So that's really good. Now that I see this picture for the third time, I feel like there might be a hand in the top left corner, or something dark that's a reflection coming from the outside world. So that takes me away a little bit from the engine now that I look at it. But I feel like I want to explore the engine a little bit more. I think it's really well done. And I would just say, maybe darken all those 4 corners a little bit more, so my attention stays really close on the engine and I don't get distracted by the 4 corners a little bit. But it's a great, fantastic image that's like really well executed with all the details, and it's sharp throughout where it needs to be. Give it a 9.
I should have flown south.
I wanted to talk about this, so I kept it in, right? It's probably not the greatest bird picture ever, right? It's a bird sitting there. I give you kudos for getting a close-up bird of a cardinal, because they're so darn skittish and they fly away. Kudos to you that you actually got snow, because last year I didn't get any. I don't know, it might be an older picture. And you have no distractions in front of the bird's face, right? These birds, like oftentimes they're like hiding in the shrubbery and we just can't get them. And you captured the eyeball, like always, like, get that eyeball, get that bird kind of like looking at you. It's super, super, super important. So kudos to you for just getting this female cardinal as close as you did. Nice shot. Other than that, it would be nice if the bird did something, or it flew around, or if there were less branches on around, it would be a little cleaner shot with a more blurry background. So for that reason, I wanted to keep it in because I like it. But for best of the year competition, we'll give it a 7.
Old soldier.
I do like how he looks up at you, like you really bother him with your camera at this particular moment. It's yeah, he has quite a scary look to him. I wish we could see the eyeballs a little bit more though. And there's nothing you can do. You cannot just say, hey, here's some little scissors, let's cut those eyebrows a little bit, because they're like getting really bushy and long. But we can still make out those eyeballs, and we can still make out that he kind of gives us the eye and the look. Great detail in the face and the forehead. The musket adds to the story, so we kind of know it's a Revolutionary War soldier. Well done. We'll give it a 9.
Hand and foot.
I like the emotional impact of this image, right? I mean, it's fantastic to to imagine that your little kid can grow up to be a grown adult in 15, 16, 20 years, however long it takes him to be fully grown. Yet they had a foot which was like the size of your thumb. So you captured this tender moment really well. Do I wish there would be more to the picture? Do I wish there would be like maybe turn it black and white, maybe have better lighting you know, have make a stronger side light to be more creative. Yes, that would probably add to the picture. But for the composition itself, right? For the composition, I think is really great. For the lighting, you can get more creative with that, right? If you want to do another shot like that for your next grandchild when it gets born, think about it. Give it a 7.
Me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to make out of that, to be honest. When I look at the person's right eye, I guess our left eye, where my eye goes to, because it's kind of a little brighter, like what's behind the glasses there. It's a little brighter than the rest of the face, so I'm drawn to that. But I see all these little specks in there. Like I look at the pupil and I see all these little specks in there. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's dirty glasses. I don't know if it's something you added. I don't know if it was an effect that you wanted me to have, right? I kind of like the concept of it. I kind of like you looking down, but I wish I could see your eyeballs better. I wish they could be clear. And the image itself, your skin does look a little bit noisy, and I don't know if that was the effect that you wanted. I do like the composition. I do like the idea. I do like the creativity, but I wish there would be, better eyeball, less noisy skin. But maybe that was the look you were going for. Give it an 8.
Light and shadow.
Love the simplicity of that picture. I don't know if it was taken somewhere in one of those Mediterranean countries where they have that blue sky, like in Greece or Italy or Turkey, and the white buildings. I do love the shadows. I do like those lines. The one little nitpicky thing, if I look on the left column there, where the white meets the blue, there's a little bit of blue on that white column there. Or maybe it's dark, or maybe it's black, or maybe it's chipped, or something like that. I would have cleaned that up to have just a like totally clean, building, so to say. But it's well seen, well executed for what it is. But that bothers me, that little tiny bit over there. I'm gonna be nitpicky about it. I'll give it an 8.
Okay. Well, we're down to 14. Basically, we're going to do a first, second, and third, and then 4 honorable mentions.
1, 2, 3, and 4 HM. Okay, that's 7. So that's half of them. Okay, good.
Yeah, hold on. Let me do a. Okay, what we'll do is you'll tell me when you're ready. I'll step through them.
So let's. Okay. Can we do it in and out again for like half of them?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's do a
Absolutely. You got it.
6. Let's do a 6 and 7 again, and then we'll whittle it down to
Okay.
hopefully 7 or 8
Okay.
or 9. Yeah, that would make me.
All right.
Okay.
Window shades.
We'll do another 6 and 7 round.
You got it.
7.
Gladiolus at midnight.
7.
Acetylene torch.
7.
NYC.
7.
Bouquet of colors.
7. I gotta stop.
Dahlia delight.
I'm not stopping at 7.
Zeta magic.
And 6.
A shore abstract.
And 6.
The rain man cometh.
Yeah, 6.
Falls, mist, and clouds.
Number 6.
Urban cellist.
And 6.
Board and the playground.
And 6.
Hot Rod Engine,
7.
Old Soldier.
That's a 7.
Okay,
And I'm down to 8.
you're down to 8.
Uh-oh. 8 is not a good number.
Okay,
That's okay.
all
Okay.
right.
Okay, that's better. I can see them all on the same screen.
Okay.
Let's start off with those 4 honorable mentions, and
Okay.
let's go all the way to the left side again. And I need 4 honorable mentions. So this one will get an award. I just don't know which one yet.
Okay.
This one will be an honorable mention.
All right. I'll call a 6th an honorable mention. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. This one will get an honorable mention. The
This one?
flowers. Yep.
Okay.
This one will get an honorable mention. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, I can see the number on top, so I know which one.
Yeah, right.
you talking about. Can we do 5 honorable mentions so I don't have to
No.
eliminate one? Oh,
No.
guys are brutal. Okay. I will give the left one first place.
Okay.
That's we got already.
Mm-hmm.
That one I need something. That one a flower will get something.
All right.
That flower will get something. I think the flower will get second place.
Second place, I'll make that an 8. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I need a third place and another HM. So go between the welder and the crane. Yes, the welder and the crane. The welder and the crane. Just those 2, welder and crane. One of them will be HM, the other one will be third.
Okay.
And they could be totally interchangeable. One was really well seen in the city, and you created something really cool with those 2 colors. And then the other one is just like you focused in on that, and then you did wonderful work in post-processing. But I think I am still more drawn to the crane and the blue building. So that one will get third place, and the welder will get an HM. And then my job is done.
Okay, hold on a second.
I think, unless I need to pick between the 2 winners to have an overall winner. I don't know if you do that.
No. Okay. Here we go. Open best of year, class 2. Honorable mention. Gladiolas at Midnight, David. Excellent job. Very nice. Acetylene Torch. Harvey, once again, terrific job. Bouquet of Colors. Harvey, of course, it was a Harvey. I could tell that was a Harvey. Hot Rod Engine. Harvey again. Wow, Harvey.
Harvey, check it in the mail, right?
Yeah, checks the mail. He should. Third place. NYC Harvey again.
Oh man.
Getting the message there, right? Second place. Dahlia Delight. David. Cool. Really nice. And first place. Window Shades. Dan. Terrific. Okay, guys. At this point, let me stop sharing. Hold on. Give me a second.
When are you gonna move Harvey up to another category?
Where's-
Well, he's in his own, he's in his own category, as you know.
I know.
Yeah, let's see how this works. Okay.
Hmm.
All right, and we're back again.
I thought it was an excellent review of so many photos. You gave great insight into a lot of things. I like the way you described everything.
Well, thank you.
And, yeah, I was very intrigued by how you found the good and the critique rather than, the bad, and a little bit of the good, which some, judges tend to do. It was a positive, feedback.
I tend to go a little long sometimes, so you have to remind
Well,
me to.
considering that we had 100, how many pictures here? 139.
I think
we did a
Robert
great
did a
job.
terrific job.
Right.
Thank you.
So you'll be hearing from us again for this
Yeah.
year.
Diana called me yesterday. Is Diana here? Who called me?
Yes, Diana, she did. She's there.
And I called her back. I played phone tag with her. But yeah,
Oh,
I'm available next year, depending
Great.
on the month.
Okay. She'll catch up with you.
Okay.
Nice job, Robert.
Thank you. Nice job,
Yeah,
Harvey.
Nice job, Harvey.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Very good.
Thank
It's
you,
nice to
guys.
see
Thank you.
everybody. Thanks again.
Have a
Okay,
good
I'm
night.
gonna stop
Have a
recording.
good